Chapter 257. The divine tree raised all of its roots and began to thrash wildly in the air. No, it wasn't that the tree was choosing to move on its own. Rather, it was the overwhelming impact of spiritual power surging through it after absorbing the entirety of that sacred noodle. The force from below carried an immense amount of spiritual energy, blowing upward with such intensity that it generated a storm equivalent to a Category 14 hurricane on the moon. The poor laurel tree had to exert all its strength just to anchor its roots to the ground. Otherwise, it would have been blown away. In its mind, the tree couldn't help but marvel at how much stronger its master's spiritual power had become compared to before. What no one knew was that this was also a moment of intense agony for the divine tree. Had the tree not already been a formidable fifth-order being, its entire body would have been torn apart by the sheer force of the spiritual energy. The roots, unable to contain the immense power, flailed about as if they were struggling in their final moments, transforming into wooden dragons that howled towards the heavens. Simultaneously, the tree's trunk itself morphed into another dragon, massive, glowing with a pale blue light, and with eyes that shone brilliantly. Was this the first form of a dragon taking shape? Then, suddenly, lightning struck down from the void, hitting the divine tree with tremendous force. The laurel tree was startled, utterly perplexed by how lightning could even exist in the vacuum of space. But it wasn't just any lightning. It was a colossal, awe-inspiring bolt that completely enveloped the divine tree. The newly formed dragon roared in agony as the biochemical transformation began at the molecular level. And what of the divine tree's core? Grimacing and squinting, the divine tree braced itself against the onslaught. Unlike the divine tree of nearly a decade ago, which would weep whenever it evolved, this tree could now be considered mature, resilient, and strong. Though it still couldn't fly and hadn't developed any pain resistance, the divine tree understood all too well the price that must be paid for the excruciating pain brought on by this biochemical transformation. And that price, it knew, was well worth it. The lightning, carrying millions of volts, relentlessly tore through the divine tree's body. After some time, the laurel tree looked on, sighing as it witnessed the chunks of wood being stripped away, only to regenerate as new layers of wood. Over and over, the divine tree was shattered and rebuilt. The great dragon beneath the divine tree's trunk let out increasingly desperate howls, its cries merging entirely with the deafening crackle of the lightning, creating a sound as if it came from the very depths of hell, a sound that would make anyone's skin crawl with fear. Who would have thought that the lightning could grow even more intense than before? The sheer force of it made even the laurel tree tremble and howl in fear. Was this the climax of the divine tree's evolution? No, it was the end. All that remained in that place was smoke and dust. Fortunately, the laurel tree had just enough time to transform its body into a diamond-like state to resist the lightning's onslaught. But once again, it was shocked. The divine tree had transformed into a new form, larger and seemingly more terrifying, with the appearance of a massive tree growing on the back of an even larger dragon. The sight was so frightening that the laurel tree nearly fainted. The divine tree's body was now several dozen times larger than before, and when compared to it, the laurel tree was now only the size of a fingernail. But that wasn't all. The core of the divine tree had grown a red horn. Without saying a word, the divine tree immediately took out a mirror to examine itself. It actually looks quite good, he thought, although there was a slight concern. Why is the horn off-center? The divine tree also began to assess his own body. The aura he emitted was that of a dragon, and the enormous dragon beneath him was clearly an azure dragon. However, his strength had far surpassed that of any ordinary dragon, countless times over. From his two massive claws, the divine tree attempted to concentrate energy, forming two brilliant blue energy spheres. The system interface appeared, indicating Special Ability, Holy Energy Sphere. This ability gathers spiritual energy infused with the power of life, possessing destructive power multiplied many times against dark attributes and undead creatures. The divine tree, sensing this power, thought to himself, based on the energy gathered, this destructive force could easily wipe out an entire continent of humanity. The laurel tree below then asked, "Master, you've grown even stronger. Could it be that you have now reached transcendent sixth order?" The divine tree replied, "Not yet. I'm still at the peak of the fifth order. However, the 9 internal spaces have expanded significantly, and in such a short time, my power has multiplied several times over." The laurel tree now understood. It wasn't easy to reach the sixth order. Of course, advancing to the sixth order is akin to graduating from university and being able to start a career. In this world, it signifies a power level that surpasses Earth and allows one to reach out into the universe. The divine tree murmured to himself, "Once I return to Earth, I must find that girl and get some clear answers. Could what she said have anything to do with the visions I encountered today?" By the way, the divine tree remembered that he had discovered a new planet in the void last time. He also wanted to visit it, but only after everything on Earth had been properly arranged. Reflecting on his subordinate, the laurel tree, the divine tree considered its current state: immortal laurel level, transcendent fourth order innate talent, immortal body. The roots of the immortal laurel spread far and wide, bestowing it with an immortal body capable of endless regeneration. With each fusion, its body grows tougher and more resilient. Special abilities: activate laurel. This ability allows the immortal laurel to actively combine strange spiritual energies, enabling it to both protect itself and launch attacks. Moonlight protection. It can eliminate most negative effects. Laurel shadow projection. The immortal laurel can hide itself in its own shadow, effectively concealing its presence. As the divine tree examined this information, he couldn't help but be impressed. The laurel tree also possessed an immortal body, indestructible and growing stronger with each passing day. If the divine tree didn't exist, it would undoubtedly take his place as the divine tree on Earth. Thinking of Earth, the divine tree realized that he needed to station more people there, continuously gathering new allies. The stronger Earth's forces became, the more they would serve as a solid foundation for the divine tree's future endeavors. It wasn't just humanity that mattered. Even the mutated beasts on Earth had limitless potential for growth. The key was finding talent and nurturing it. The divine tree suddenly had an idea. "I can use the roots of the void tree to create a pathway that connects Earth to the laurel tree," he thought. That way, not only can they reach the laurel tree in a short time, but it will also be more convenient for them to find me. Surveying the current space, he noticed that the oxygen levels were still too thin. But that wasn't a big concern. The divine tree believed that with the strength of the mutated beasts under his command, this would not be an issue. He then created a pale blue Huangjia, an illusionary realm, covering an area of several thousand square meters. This should be better, he thought, to retain the oxygen produced by the forest within. Lifting a stone and watching it fall slowly, the divine tree considered that the existence of the laurel tree should not impact Earth, as they were enemies in the past. Moreover, this place needed more gravity. The divine tree pondered, thinking of one of his subordinates. "That buffalo demon. All right, I'll leave this task to him." Afterward, the divine tree opened his own space and summoned everyone. The mutated beasts of Misty Mountain were astonished as they emerged, finding themselves in a space entirely different from Earth. The 9-tailed fox raised her head to gaze at the countless stars and asked, "Where is this place?" Meanwhile, the white tiger, out of habit, charged forward. The divine tree had to use a branch to hold him back, while frantically shouting, "Everyone will die! Everyone will die!" The golden ant quickly sensed something unusual. He climbed onto the head of the azure dragon formed by the divine tree and declared his intention to strike at the anomaly. The divine tree had to shout, "Stop!" Once all the necessary members had gathered, the divine tree began to make an announcement. "This place," he said, "is the moon. The gravity and environment here are entirely different from Earth. The reason I've summoned only a few of you is that there is a task that requires your attention." At Misty Mountain, the moon that night was particularly full and bright. In the blink of an eye, the dinosaurs, the white tiger, and the 9-tailed fox found themselves back at Misty Mountain, leaving the group stunned. The leader, in a stern tone, ordered everyone to disperse and carry out the tasks that their master had assigned them. The divine tree, however, remained on the moon, gazing at the beautiful earth, which appeared like a gem in the sky. He silently said to himself, "I'll leave matters on earth to you all. I still have work to do here." This work involved transforming the moon into a habitat suitable for living creatures. The entire surface was covered in dust, presenting the divine tree with a difficult challenge. It wasn't just about creating forests. He also had to consider the impact of the moon's transformation on Earth's ecosystem below. For now, the divine tree opened a misty space, prioritizing what needed to be done first. With a summoning command, 2 mist beasts appeared, followed by Yul stepping out. The system interface appeared: mutated human level, transcendent 4th order innate talent, magnetism control. Has the ability to skillfully manipulate magnetic forces. Special abilities: magnetic field perception. Can sense life force within 100,000 miles using magnetic fields. Metal manipulation. Can control metal in a city to launch attacks. Teleportation. Can teleport through magnetic fields based on Earth's magnetic force. Absorption. Can absorb magnetic forces into the body to perform long-range attacks. Magnetic force enhancement. Uses magnetic forces to enhance the body, increasing strength, durability, and even energy reactions up to 5 times. Counterattack. Can reduce the energy of enemies by 5 to 10 times. Immunity. Can use magnetic forces to eliminate abnormal or extreme temperatures. Magnetic force emission. Can release magnetic energy from the body to withstand high temperatures. As the divine tree reviewed this information, he couldn't help but be impressed. Not only does he possess powerful attack methods, he thought, but he also has incredible speed and effective stealth capabilities. Considering the possibility of Xiaoling fighting against this man, the divine tree realized that even with Xiaoling's formidable fire elemental powers and exceptional close combat skills, Xiaoling would not be able to defeat him or even retreat safely. Indeed, this man was truly worthy of the title of the strongest human warrior. End of chapter 257.